there shouldn't be presidential level elections in
So what
2027.
should happen? Ruto should continue.
20 years. It's
And you
the
see now
only
this.
formula that is working everywhere
Yes,
where
but you see now.
where where those societies have greater socioeconomic privileges for the young people, opportunities for growth. They have industrialized, they have streamlined their economy, they are flourishing. Bare minimum that I'm going to accept from him is to prevent Kikuyus from ever voting again. That one, I'll be like, okay, now we are headed somewhere. This is the
Wait.
opposite of semi-autonomy.
Yes, but exactly.
I actually want the Kikuyus granted that for free. They don't have
No,
to
but they
ask
cannot.
for it. They
But
don't
there's
have
no
to
doubt.
demand
But you
it.
see
They don't
now.
have to riot.
But
Just
you see now
remove them
how,
from contaminating elections.
because even the president himself now, if it was not for Mount Kenya, he will not be president. They control.
No,
He has tried. He has tried. He
imagine
has tried.
removing that 3% of the voters from
But
the
what
equation, so
now?
that
When you look, let me ask you a
they
question.
are no longer a factor where
Now
you need to go audition to them for 4 years.
they are big economic players.
No, those are useless
Yes,
human beings.
these are Kikuyus being industrious in nature, working hard, and those kind. They're all over the
Exactly.
country.
Those are not the people I'm
But you
talking about.
see,
I'm talking
but you
about
see,
these useless drunkards
but
in the
no, but one
small
thing,
shopping centers
but
that
one
know
thing you,
everything about who should be president. They should
but
not
one
be
thing you
given a power.
forget.
You are dismissing the value of the autonomy of Central Kenya that I'm
It's
offering.
impossible. It's impossible because it's a
Anything for them not to vote in general elections. Anything.
so how
Because their vote is the one that causes 99% of the problems in Kenya.
somebody like Rigiji is very powerful and he
Rigiji is not
knows.
powerful. Rigiji is not
Listen,
powerful anywhere.
listen.
Nowhere.
As it is now, as it is now. Tell me any
Rigiji is
Kikuyu
a
lead.
project.
No. But he's using what is
Rigiji is a
making him relevant.
project.
What is making him relevant? It's the Kikuyu factor.
Rigiji is a project. You will forget Rigiji before Christmas.
You are
Revisit this
sure?
tape. Revisit this tape. There is the Karauris. There is the Mainawajigi family. There is the Njenga family. There is the Kirema family. Those people are inside the system.
Yeah.
We see now they are second generation children
Yeah.
leading inside the systems. They are
Yeah.
occupying positions of power and influence.
Yeah.
Those people, they identify themselves with the country, with what they can give and what they can get from the country. The problem is
The
this
villagers.
misinformed, disinformed, uninformed retards scattered all over central Kenya. Those people have no place voting in national elections. They have no idea what they are voting for. They demonstrated that in 1992 when they could vote for a goat that stood on a Fordiasiri candidate party because they have no idea what they are voting for. Why should we keep that nonsense going for another decade? Outside of Mwondi of Equity, there is nobody else in Kikuyu land who depends, who
On
has
the
a
central.
product that is widespread in Kikuyu land. Not even the Kenya breweries. The Kikuyus in central Kenya are not drinking Kenya breweries beverages. Kikuyu elites do not have a product that depends on the useless Kikuyus in central Kenya
So
to
let me ask you a
purchase.
question as we
They
wind up. So
don't.
the university has turned into a money minting institution. They just want, and most of these people are privately sponsored students. So they're paying $500,000 per academic year.
So
Now
they
you're
have
graduating
turned the medical school into
into
Starehe
money.
boys.
It will be really great if the president just decides to say, come even to the space. Come do podcasts. Okay, which podcast is trending? Which space? Let's
So
have this conversation.
I can plan a podcast between you
You
and the
get?
president,
Because
and I can
now
be a
you have,
I can be a moderator.
that is a way where you listen to people. Now when you talk about listening to the ground,
I want your input to count.
Yes. When you talk about listening to the ground again, there's a lot of people say that the president is being misadvised. It could be true that people are giving you the wrong information, but there's also that personal initiative that you'll not get the truth when you're on the rooftops of places.
It's not necessarily being misinformed. It's a lack of information because your input is not there. The polarizing atmosphere in Kenya, everywhere he would want to go and listen or read, it's people complaining, not people sharing ideas. It's people
No,
complaining.
but why are people complaining?
That the approach is wrong
Uh-huh. But why
because
people why are,
there's no intention of engagement. The intention is to apportion blame.
but
There's
that
not.
does
There's
not
very
mean
little you can do. There's very little you can do with that.
if today William Ruto took the microphone and said, I have listened to the youth. I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E. I've talked to the police. I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E. Do you know the whole thing will change significantly?
Yeah, he has done that multiple times. Nobody listened.
No, what he did, he brought Raila. He listens to Raila, man.
But Laila listens to you. So
Oh,
why don't you
yeah,
pass
no,
your
no,
information to the
no. He
president through
listen, he
Laila?
listen.
Much of that also comes from the frustration that he has to also win an election to stay relevant.
Exactly.
If the elections were taken out of the equation,
He would work.
if the elections were taken out of the equation and he has a security of tenure for 20 years, then he would not have to work with the people he has to work with. He said that himself. The societies where they are beating the rest of the world in the 21st century are the
They don't
countries
have
where they have not adapted Western democracies, whether
no.
that is in Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan,
Even the Chinas of this world at the top.
UAE, China, Russia, KSA,
Yeah.
Bahrain. Compare Moi Kibaki with Uhuru Kenyatta.
Hey, I would stick with Kibaki.
So we should have kept him for 20 years.
I definitely, definitely.
We should
I'm.
have we should
I
have
do.
kept him for 20 years and bypassed the entire train wreck that is Uhuru Kenyatta. Problem
Wait.
is the general population that feels that
No,
they are entitled to information.
not
They are not.
necessarily. Not
They are not
necessarily.
entitled to information. Once you vote, go the fuck away.
No, 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 no.
Once you
Listen,
vote,
listen,
go
listen,
away.
listen. No, you cannot go away
We will never agree on that one.
because if
Because
you're a
now
politician,
we have idle people who feel like it's the role of the government to continually tell them about the sausage making
no. But when
process
you, but
of
when you,
government.
IQ,
That is
IQ, but
you don't
IQ.
have that right.
No, but when you're infiltrating
It's
my
not your
payslip,
place.
but when you're infiltrating my payslip, you ought to tell me.
The country belongs to the rulers.
No,
We
no, no,
pay
no. Listen,
we
listen.
pay to live in it. I posted that the other day. One moment. Let me make that controversial point one more time.
Yeah.
The country, any country, belong to the rulers. The citizens pay to live in it. The rulers come up with the rules for you to follow as a condition for you to live in that country. Two
Now,
conditions: obey the rules of the rulers and pay taxes.
now,
If you don't do those things, the least that can happen to you is to go to another country where there is still those two sets of rules. The worst
now.
that can happen to you is for you to get put in jail. Dubai,
Wait.
UAE is an example of
No, no,
that.
no, no. Forget about UAE.
People
I'm
are
talking. Wait.
willing, people
I'm
are
forget.
willing to follow the rules
Forget about
there
UAE. Forget
that they
about
cannot
UAE.
follow in their own country.
Listen,
There is
listen.
no
Of
country
course.
that is owned by citizens.
No, I'm
None
saying.
whatsoever.
No, I'm saying that is fine. Of course, that's why you're
Unless
given.
unless you are rich enough to buy yourself an island and
That's
your
why I'm
name is not
saying.
Richard Branson. If UAE did not have rules to follow by the
Yeah.
rulers, the condition to live there, the people from Bangladesh, the people from India, the people from Kenya, the people from Nigeria, the people from South Africa, the people from everywhere else, they would bring their degeneracy there and
Facts.
destroy that society the
In
way they have
fact,
destroyed the
in fact,
fucked
it is
up,
there. In fact, it
God-forsaken
is there.
societies they have come from.
In fact, it is
Period.
there.
They paid Lumumba 1 million Kenya shillings. Adjusted for inflation, it's almost 2 million now.
Yeah.
And he
but
was
you see,
totally useless. Do we want a constitutional extension of the presidency of Ruto, or where we are going to say he stole the election in 2027? I mean, whatever is
no,
happening here after 2027 is whatever is going to continue there. Because now you're going to be even more amplified that he stole this one. 5 years screaming about stealing.
now let me
Or,
tell.
or recalibrate and say, now you have 20 years. Your generation is it's so poisoned with these Western thing,
Democracy.
democracy ideologies that what I'm saying right now, you're screaming through the roof. You cannot
No,
fathom a system
no, me.
where if we have a good
There's
leader,
no.
we keep them. The government needs to get out of the way of being teachers and doctors' employer. That's it.
But you see now,
If the government stopped employing doctors, if the government stopped employing teachers, then they become a demand-based career where they go where they are needed when they are needed. You educate more when you need more. You stop educating them when you don't need them.
but you see now, that works in Dubai. Dubai healthcare system is, apart from 2, 3, 4, 5 government hospitals, it's heavily privatized. Indians are taking, like, it's
Yes,
like, but you see now,
American doctors, they work for insurance companies. They work for
yes,
hospitals.
yes, but
They
you
do
see now, let me ask,
private practice. They
but you
don't
see now, let
work
me
for
ask,
the
but
government.
you see now the problem,
The government is to get out of the way of employing
but you
doctors.
see now the problem is you look at your population. And that's what I'm saying. When you come up with policies, for example, healthcare policies, you look, we call it the social determinants of health of your population. If I come from Turkana County as a doctor, Turkana has, let's say, 1 million people. They have only 6 hospitals, and all of them are public hospitals. There's no private hospital in Turkana. Maybe one that covers for these NGO people. The cost is expensive. Even if I'm a doctor and I want to go and work in a private hospital, I only see 5, 6, 7 patients. How many of us can be employed? So
So
the only system helps.
here is the thing, right? In America, it's private insurance,
Yeah,
it's Medicare for the elderly, it's the VA for the service people,
yeah,
and then it's the subsidized insurance called Medicaid.
Medicaid. Yeah,
Okay, that is
mm,
financed by the states for their indigent population.
yeah.
If when all those things are working together, everybody's covered.
Thank you.
Because if it's in a rural Turkana, then a nurse practitioner, which is a step below the doctor
Yeah,
in the American context,
yeah. Even here.
they are empowered to go to those remote areas and practice as doctors.
Hmm.
And then they are incentivized for serving in those undercovered areas through government incentives, which is something Obama was offering
Yes.
the teachers to have student loan forgiveness if they enrolled in this part of the country for a period of this time, their loans is forgiven. Biden tried that and it failed because he wanted to socialize it. But America is served by private insurance,
Yes.
Veterans Affairs,
Medicare,
Medicare
Medicaid.
for the elderly, and
Medicaid.
Medicaid for the indigent in the states, and the system works.
Now, now, perfect. But you realize in every statement that you're saying, and this is one thing that you have to know: the main stakeholder in all this is the government.
Yes, but the government is not the employer.
No, 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 no. We're not saying
The
about
government is the
government. Listen,
regulator.
let's now. That's why I'm talking about. I've talked about a regulatory body. Like I've given you an example of Dubai.
Even
Listen,
you know that show on TV called Amsterdam.
yeah, the new, yeah,
It's based
the
of of a public hospital in New York.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Everybody
Yes.
walks through that door, get quality healthcare as much as they can afford. They can provide it.
Thank you.
But
But
those people, the doctors in the Amsterdam deal, they are not paid by the government. They are not employed by the government.
Mhm.
They are
now,
subsidized through the insurance,
now,
whether whether
but you
this
see,
person is covered by Medicare, is covered by Medicaid, VA, and
thank
all
you.
that come together to subsidize and incentivize these people to continue
Thank you.
doing
But you
those
see
very
that.
difficult
So
jobs.
basically what you're saying is the government has failed, and that's my point, because I was giving an example of
Yes,
Dubai.
100%.
Yes. So that's
100%.
what I'm saying. If who makes it better if not the leadership? So they are saying
System.
you have gone to the US, which is a capitalistic society just like Kenya. You have seen what works. We might have different demographics or different determinants, social determinants like literacy levels, level of incomes, but you have the structure in mind. The same thing as Dubai. There's every privatized hospital, but there's something that the government has done. The institutions exist. How many hospitals are there? Number two, there's heavy regulation of training in the United States.
Yes.
Thank you. There's
Yes.
the medical profession is a holy profession, very
But
tight.
but but also granted, the government in Kenya, whether you want to call it government or system, they are also in control of training the doctors to
That's what
maintain
I
the
was
same
telling you.
level,
That's what I was telling you.
to maintain the
Hiyo
same
ndo nimekuwa
level of
nikikwambia,
quality of
ndo nimekuwa
service.
nikikwambia. One of the
Yes.
problems that we have, and that we have the argument we have, there's no way in the UN when I was in first year, that is 2013, we were 250 people, medical students. Last year, first year, there are 700 medical students. The university has turned into a money minting institution. They just want, and most of these people are privately sponsored students. So they're
Mhm.
paying $500,000 per academic year.
So
Now
they
you're
have
graduating
turned the medical school into
into
Starehe
money.
Boys.
Yes, exactly. Now where
Yeah.
this seven and the government is the chief regulator of education.
Yeah.
So these people have gone through medical school. You are releasing 1,500 medical doctors, yet you don't have a system to absorb them. It doesn't have mean you employing them, but when you talk even about physical institutions, they are not there. You see, they're not in existence. When you talk about partnership between private and public players, it's dead. So
Yeah.
who you are educating these students, you are taking them through the curriculum. They are coming. You're actually taking them to internship. You have seen the interns have been fighting. Then from there, you release them. That's why you see doctors are now selling. They are doing all kinds of funny things.
And
So that is
also,
us.
another failure of the government is they do not have a system in place to enforce through policy and laws and regulations that everybody carry insurance.
Yes.
Because now, as you are explaining to me about SHA, only a very small fraction of people are covered. The ones that the government employs,
Mm.
plus the teachers and the policemen. In
Yeah.
America, they have to put it through an act of parliament. So that
So
now it's
there are
Obamacare.
consequences. Yes.
It's Obamacare. Everybody should be covered
It's
in
a,
it, or on
there are
private
consequences.
insurance, on the
Yeah.
lower end, on Medicaid, so that
Hmm.
100% of the population is covered, which is something that Dubai has done, and
Yeah.
maybe the rest of the UAE.
In fact it's a
They have
must.
they
Yes.
have mandated everybody to have insurance.
And that's why I've
When
told
when
you.
I when I
Mhm.
want to travel to Switzerland, I must have an insurance
In
cover.
insurance. Mm. And you see, that's why I was telling you now. We need a. That's why I told you we need an health authority. I would scrap SHA and call it Kenya Health Authority. And then under health, I'm talking about healthcare financing as a pillar, which talks about insurance. I'm talking about technology. I'm talking about training. You know, I'm talking about strategic partnerships, research.
Do you
You
think
see,
some of these things have to be addressed through an act of parliament by passing a law?
yeah, but you see, like you said rightfully so, we have doctors in parliament, few of them who only think about so sad. You see, now that's the problem. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So that those are the challenges that we have, and it's quite unfortunate because when we have these ideas, we are very. The only problem is let's have a listening. I would really appreciate. It would be really great if the president just decides to say, come even to the space, come do podcasts. Okay, which podcast is trending? Nini, nini, which space? Let's
So I
have
can
this
I
conversation.
can I can plan a podcast between you
You
and the
get?
president,
Because
and I can
now
be a
you have
I can be a moderator.
that is a way where you listen to people. You know, now when you talk about listening to the ground,
I want your input to count.
yes, when you talk about listening to the ground again, there's a lot of people say that the president is being misadvised. It could be true that people are giving you the wrong information, but there's also that personal initiative that you not get the truth when you're on the rooftops of places.
It's not necessarily being misinformed. It's a lack of information because your input is not there.
You see, but now sometimes you as you have to get out of this cocoon that you are in and just decide, okay, let me listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, but the cocoon also comes
You get,
with the office.
you get like now there is okay.
It's a
Let me
catch twenty
so
two.
because when you go to the news, for example, this guy listens, he reads social media, okay, he sees the news, he sees this thing, so he just say, okay, let me now listen to this
But
short thing.
the polarizing atmosphere in Kenya, everywhere he would want to go and listen or read, it's people complaining, not people sharing ideas. It's people
No,
complaining.
but why are people complaining?
That the approach is wrong
Uh-huh. But
because
why are,
there's no intention of engagement. The intention is to apportion blame.
but that does
There's
not
very
mean
little you can do. There's very little you can do with that.
but that does not mean you accept the status quo. You
Yeah, but
get,
he's
you know,
doing
you are
what he's
elected by
doing with
this.
the
You know, one thing
information
that you
he
have to
has.
understand: you are not an autocratic leader. You are voted for by these people. Even if Kibaki was doing well, I don't know what he was doing, but in his first term, he did fairly well, free education, blah blah blah. But come to a
No,
seven, listen,
Kibaki was just a beneficiary of a trajectory
no.
gain that he
So
inherited.
the point is, people can decide to turn on. That's why you see now, for example, even the US in the midterms, you can win the election in 2022 or 2024, and in 2026 you lose the seat, both seats or both houses. You see, the people are the employer. One thing that now let me tell you something. Do you know, for example, if today William Ruto took the microphone and said, I have listened to the youth. I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E. I've talked to the police. I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E. Do you know the whole thing will change significantly?
Yeah, he has done that multiple times. Nobody listened.
No, what he did, he brought Raila. He listens to Raila, man.
But Raila listens to you. So why don't you
Yeah,
pass
no,
your
no,
information to the
no. You
president through
listen, you
Raila?
listen to that's the problem. Ruto is playing. Ruto will easily win. He will easily win the election because, as you rightfully say, or other people rightfully say, there is no somebody who is that formidable to actually take on him. But he's giving people a lot of chances because he's deciding to go the old way. He's listening to Raila,
Yes,
but
but
that is not what he
much
campaigned
much
on. That is not
much
what he
of
campaigned on.
much of that also comes from the frustration that he has to also win an election to stay relevant.
Exactly.
If the elections were taken out of the equation,
He would work.
if the elections were taken out of the equation and he has a security of tenure for 20 years, then he would not have to work with the people he have to work with. He said that himself.
Now
He
forget about that.
said that
Let's talk
himself.
about now. Let's talk about now the inner circle of the president, because you have to agree that when you're this is what we call being presidential. It's important. Serious progressive states that have failed to be individuals that have failed to be presidential, they have lost their seats for whatever reason in serious societies or systems. So when you have people like Oscar Sudi, people like Farouk Kibet, people who they are not necessarily smart, they cannot explain policy. And that's the distinction between, for example, Kibaki and this guy, or even Uhuru at worst and this guy.
Do you remember when Trump became president? Not too long ago, a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's this woman from Florida who is a social media influencer, very big conservative woman. I saw a photo of her today.
You,
She's wearing a bikini and she has a big tattoo all the way here.
yeah,
I can't remember what her name is.
I think it's Luma or somebody.
That one.
Yeah.
She went to the White House, and whatever she told the president, on her way out, the president fired 4 people. Remember that incident?
Mm-hmm.
Very high people in Pentagon.
Yes.
Those influences are always going to be there.
And you see, that's one thing. You see, I, for example, would understand why Oscar Sudi is important for Ruto. I will understand why Farouk Kibet is important for Ruto as a politician. Okay? Trump has many of these people who speak for whatever reason, who
I mean,
speak.
Moi had the what,
Yeah.
and he
You
also
see,
he had the advantage of having the provincial administrative chiefs, the
who do
PCs,
that. Yes.
do his
And he,
bidding.
and do you know, do you know, do you
The
know Moi
people
was
who
not,
ran the system, right?
do you know Moi was not even learned? Eh?
You see, those
And
are problems of you.
we have a
Those are problems of
PhD.
you learned people.
No, we have a PhD president. Because me, I look at it
Now
in all
we
during
go
Moi
to
education was working, healthcare KNH was one of the best. People were going to university, they were getting these booms. You know,
because
education was,
he had the security of tenor.
and you see, but you see
The
also you
best,
have
the best, the reason high education works is because the institutions gives the lecturers the security of tenor.
mm,
They can be their best. If that model works in lecturers, why do we deny it in Africa with these mean-tested, failed, Western-themed democracies where you have to have 5-year cycles of
elections.
elections?
Yeah,
The societies where they are beating the rest of the world in the 21st century are the
they don't
countries
have
where they have not adapted Western-themed democracies, whether
no,
that is in Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan,
even the Chinas of this world, the top.
UAE, China, Russia, KSA,
Yeah.
Bahrain. They do not have anything that looks Western themed
Now let me ask you
democracy.
a question. Let me ask you a
So a
question.
security of tenor is very important if
Let
somebody
me ask you
has
a
to
question.
get their full potential.
Let me ask you a question. I've been to Uganda and I've been to Rwanda. And do you know why Museveni wins elections? Elections. Forget about even this Bobby Wine thing. And if genuine elections were held every time in Uganda, Museveni would win until his last day in this earth. Same thing in Rwanda. Kagame will be voted for as long as he's still president to the end. What I'm basically saying, if you are a good, if people perceive you as a good Museveni, forget this noise that you hear. I've been to the remotest part of Uganda, especially the western side of Mbarara, those side on the north. It's only in Kampala and Jinja where people are kind of woke. But that guy wins elections with or without rigging. Kagame wins elections anytime, 80 pass. Whether of course you finya your political opponents here and there, that is okay. I'm saying that is possible in Kenya, if not even in Kenya, in Africa. Forget about us. There's nothing that stops. As you see, they're entertaining the idea of extending wherever. If, for example, you're a good leader and you do that's the bare, depending on our context, the context of the dynamics of Uganda and Rwanda are different. People say Museveni brought stability in Uganda after the many coups. Kagame has led the post genocide. Yeah, so depending on this political or social context of that society, if you give what the people want, it is the same people that will give you that longevity.
Was Mwai Kibaki a good leader?
Mwai Kibaki, he was a fairly, so he was not the best, but he was a fairly good leader.
Compare Mwai Kibaki with Uhuru Kenyatta.
Hey, I would stick with Kibaki.
So we should have kept him for 20 years.
I definitely, definitely.
We should
Um,
have we should
I
have
do,
kept him for 20 years and bypassed the entire train wreck that is Uhuru Kenyatta.
definitely, definitely.
But
You see, even Moi,
we adapted Western themed democracy and we missed out on the ingenuity of a good leader.
and you see now again now when you are a leader, you have to be also wary. Well, I think that is something that Ruto has that Kibaki did not have. You know, you have to be politically active. You see that yes, no thing that happened in 2025, in 205, was it 205? You know, Kibaki was a political, was a president who was not proactively political. You get, like, he was the president. You had Kinamichuki here, you know, these Mirarias, they had some powerful ministers there. But you have to be politically smart. One of the things that Kibaki did in his first term, he actually, I call it the Utamakistan. He somehow managed to pit the nation against the Kikuyus themselves. That's why in the build up to 2007, you'd hear 42 against 1. Not that because he was a bad leader, he was not politically aware or politically intelligent. That's what Ruto is doing right now. He has kept some chunk of Kikuyus, he has captured some chunk of Somalis, he has some, of course, his community, he has some Luos, he has some Luyas. That is being, he has taken the coast, Kinajoa in government. Everyone is happy. So Ruto is a politically intelligent president. He can lack everything, but he's a political genius. Kibaki did not have it. You know, the 202 thing, he was brought in there. Even look at 207, he was just no say no anaapishwa ni kama ataki. He's a good, he had ideas, he was a brilliant mind, brilliant economist. He could come up, he understood policy. You know, he was well exposed, but he was not a very shrewd politician. But I assure you, if Kibaki had what Ruto has, that Ruto can send his few MPs and say, let's test the 7-year period. Let's test what people are. You know, Ruto is a darer. He does that. No, he can. He doesn't mind going and doing some things for his political survival. So that is something that Kibaki lacked, because the 207 thing, I always look at it. It's not that he was the worst of president. It's just that he broke the promise that he had given to Raila. Okay, and there was Ruto who did not support him anyway in 202. And there was Uhuru who was not with Kibaki in 202. So the Raila factor uniting with Uhuru and Ruto, they formed this orange thing against the constitution. So Kibaki doesn't have really powerful political shrewd people that can push his agenda. And that's why 207 he really struggled. You cannot tell whether he won. So what he did, he took the serious Kikuyu mafia to say, no, we are not going to release this election. But ideally, that election should not have been closed if he was a politically intelligent president. So he was a good leader, but not that politically active. And that was a
So
problem.
the end justified the means for him to get the
Yes, I'm
second
a
term.
utilitarian. I believe that the end,
Then
if the end,
that should be the formula.
yes. And
But
that's why I'm saying,
your generation is so, it's so poisoned with these Western themed
democracy.
democracy ideologies that what I'm saying right now, you're screaming through the roof. You cannot
No,
fathom a system
no, me,
where if we have a good
there's
leader,
no.
we keep them.
No,
That's it.
we should keep people to, but you see the same generation speak about Kagame. And you'll be surprised it's only a few
Yeah,
people who speak
they
about,
want they want something good when they see it working somewhere else, but they don't want
yes.
to. They don't want to sacrifice enough for them to have the same thing. That is exactly why the financial bill 2024 failed, because
Mm.
people are not willing to sacrifice for the sake of the country. They wanted good things, but not what it takes to get them.
Yeah, I understand. But you see again another thing, the problem, and that's why I'm saying that's where Ruto, one of the biggest failures of this regime is communication. Because me as an intelligent learned person, I know
I mean,
the devil.
no, that's
Listen,
not the problem.
listen,
The problem
wait.
is the general population that feels that
No,
they are entitled to information.
not
They are
necessarily.
not.
Not
They are not
necessarily.
entitled to information. Once you vote, go the fuck away.
No.
Once you
Listen,
vote,
listen,
go
listen,
away.
listen. No, you cannot go away
We will never agree on that one,
because if
because
you're a
now
politician,
we have idle people who feel like it's the role of the government to continually tell them about the sausage making
No, but
process
but
of
when
government.
IQ,
That is,
IQ, but
you
IQ.
don't have that right.
No, but when you're infiltrating
It's
my
not your
payslip,
place.
listen. But when you're infiltrating my payslip, you ought to tell me.
The country belongs to the rulers.
No,
We
no, no,
pay.
no. Listen,
We
listen.
pay to live in it. I posted that the other day. One moment. Let me make that controversial point one more time.
Yeah.
The country, any country, belong to the rulers. The citizens pay to live in it. The rulers come up with the rules for you to follow as a condition for you to live in that country. Two
Now,
conditions: obey the rules of the rulers and pay taxes.
now,
If you don't do those things, the least that can happen to you is to go to another country where there is still those two sets of rules. The worst
now,
that can happen to you is for you to get put in jail.
now. What if?
The
And it
country
has.
belongs to
Listen.
the
The problem is
rulers.
you're ignoring that there's other side. That there have been
The
very
other
many.
side
Wait,
also
wait,
comes with its
wait,
own rules. Dubai,
wait.
UAE is an example of
No, no,
that.
no, no. Forget about UAE.
People
I'm
are
talking. Wait.
willing, people
I'm
are willing to follow the rules
forget about
there
UAE. Forget
that they
about
cannot
UAE.
follow in their own country.
Forget about UAE. Now, there's this aspect that when people feel you're not doing enough, or you are going against what you promise, or you are basically not a good leader for them, they take action. South Korea has
If
done so.
if
Egypt has
if
done so.
if you
People, you get
feel if you
overthrown.
feel if you feel the rulers of the country you are citizen of are not doing you justice, you go to another country that is owned by other rulers and has the same kind of rules. You have to obey the rules and you have to pay to live in it. There is
But
no
with
free
best,
country
listen,
anywhere. There is
listen,
no
of
country
course.
that is owned by citizens.
No, I'm
None
saying,
whatsoever.
I'm saying that is fine. Of course, that's why you're
Unless
given.
unless you are rich enough to buy yourself an island and
That's
your
why I'm
name is not
saying,
Richard Branson.
no, but you see, not I don't even say rulers, but I understand that there has to be order. I see it as order. That's
Yes.
why
The
that's
rulers
why
come
I'm
up with that.
yes, that's why I'm pro. You see now, without I'm looking at people talk about, for example, anarchy. People talk of anarchy and they give examples of Sudan and these other countries. So I agree for that fact that these people that you put in authority ensure that there is order and discipline. That is their work. Number one, but number two, you have to understand human beings are naturally reactive. The reason why people don't protest in Dubai or UAE or KSA or Qatar is because things are working. I want my healthcare, I'm good. My transport system is working. There's money in my
No,
pocket. There is security.
no, no, no,
Wait. No,
no,
let me finish. Let me
no,
finish. Let me
no.
finish. Let me finish.
Uh-uh,
I'm giving you an example. Don't interrupt.
uh-uh.
Listen, and you're talking. Let's talk about the context of Middle East. Let's talk about the context of Middle East. So you have Qatar, you have UAE, you have Saudi Arabia, KSA. And I've been in that system. People don't even there's no idea of election. People don't care. But the point is, number one, look at the Emiratis themselves, now the indigenous citizens of the UAE. The government takes best care of those people. They're like 3 million. It's a mandatory that every company in the UAE must hire 30% of them. They have this minimum working hours. Like they have well taken care of them, the citizens. They have no reason whatsoever to complain. They get checks, stipends, they get perfect healthcare, they get good education. Such a person will not, unless you are an anarch, you will not revolt.
So
There's
those
nothing
people
about
now,
this. You see,
the 3 million citizens of UAE,
Mhm.
they are also in the rulers category.
Yes. No, no. Okay.
The rest,
Now,
the
wait.
rest of the the
Now
rest
let's
of
talk
the
about the others.
raffraffs,
Now the others
the
that
rest of
come.
the
Let me come.
raffraffs
Let me
have to
come.
obey the
Now,
rules and
listen.
have to pay to live there.
True. But you see, now when you come there, what reason will they have to complain? You have come to somebody's state. This is a different thing. You have come to my house. I have existing structures and rules in my house. So the moment you fail to comply to what is the norm in my house, you have no option but to be kicked out.
You see how easy that one is.
It
because
is now.
the rules they are very clear cut.
Yes. Now, number
So
one. But you see again,
even
but
those Kikuyu
I am.
botches we see
But you see
there
now, again,
trying to
wait.
destroy the system the
No,
way it's set up.
I know, and that's why I don't have a problem. But you see now, the Emiratis, now the 3 million people. You see what you have called them? You have called them owners. They are part of the rulers. But in
Yes.
that context, wait. But in the context, the real context is there is this royal family. But the royal family has taken so good care of its citizens that they are perceived to that level. You cannot come to a chaotic house. You know, a disintegrated family cannot adopt a kid and thrive well. Once you have a good existing family structures, education, you can easily adopt somebody and blend into that society. And that is my whole point. You see, that's why people move. Even in South Africa is dysfunctional, but it appears to like be doing somehow better. That's why people want to go to South Africa. US has a lot of issues, but people always want to come to America. Why? But that besides there are many flaws, I can still have a dream in the US and still be something, make something for myself. It's not that
Now
US is the most.
this is my
Mhm,
point. And you asked
mhm,
me to listen to you, so now listen to me.
mhm.
If UAE did not have rules to follow by the
Yeah.
rulers, the condition to live there, the people from Bangladesh, the people from India, the people from Kenya, the people from Nigeria, the people from South Africa, the people from everywhere else, they would bring their degeneracy there and
But
destroy that society the
in
way they have
fact,
destroyed the
in fact,
fucked
it is
up,
there. In fact, it
God-forsaken
is there.
societies they have come from.
In fact, it is
Period.
there. In fact, it is there. If you go to some places,
Period.
there was a crackdown on Nigerians.
They don't,
There's a
they don't,
crackdown
they
on.
don't, they don't follow the rules
There was
because
a crackdown on
they get everything
Filipinos.
they want. No,
Yeah,
because there's
yeah.
no other option.
Mm.
They are
So
there because, one moment, they are there because their own system failed.
yes, true.
If UAE did not have that ingenious of creating this unique society where everybody follows the rules and nobody has the right to be a citizen there, you can buy into a golden visa, but you will never become a citizen, whether you are German or American or Japanese.
Yeah.
That model has made everybody toe the line.
Now let me ask you a question
So
on that point.
the same fuckers that destroy their country, when they go there, they know how to obey the rules of the rulers.
But let me ask you a
Because
question.
not because everything is working, but because that option has been taken away from them.
But you see now, look at the nearby countries. Look at Iraq. Look at Syria. Look at these other countries that are always pro-war and these kind of things. One thing that you have to give credit to the rulers, the leadership of even China. Look at China, for example, with a billion plus people. There is order in China, and they're as much as they're moving into there's still quite a number of people who are still on the low social economic level. But there is order in China because the leadership of China is very intentional.
Do you know?
They,
Do you know? Do you know? Do you know how China,
Mhm.
is able to maintain law and order?
Number one, one thing is of course their political system. You can put it like the way the structure is. Okay,
Mhm,
they have always been that is their political system or the
mhm,
nature. Number
mhm.
two, which helps, of course, is that they don't have a problem with Jinping. This is Jim. They don't have a problem with him being. In fact, they have even he has changed some constitutional blah blah blah. They don't have a problem with him being in power because he's driving. He's giving China some sense of direction. Basically, everyone is proud to be Chinese because my leader is doing something tremendous, not only for us, but also is demanding the respect of the world. And that's why I'm
One
telling
moment.
you.
One moment. One moment. One moment. One
Uh,
moment. One moment. One moment. Just don't say anything. How many look what are they called? One moment. How many Uyghur Muslims in northeast China have been put in concentration camps? Just the number, don't give me your opinions.
Posts on X suggest numbers ranging from 1 million to nearly 8 million. But
up to
Yeah.
8 million Chinese citizens in the semi-autonomous area of the Uyghurs have been put in concentration camps. I was asking you, how do you think China makes sure that everybody follows laws and order? So when they were confronted with this possibility of extremism
Yeah.
because of the nature of their religion and their culture, the Uyghurs of the northwestern China, China was like, we cannot have that here.
Yeah.
Put them in concentration camps.
Yes.
They are own citizens.
Yes. And let me tell you something.
And they labeled them as retraining centers
Thank you.
so that they can buy into
Into this the
assimilating into the
system.
society that China
Like
is
what
creating.
like
The
what these
number
guys do.
two, the number
Mhm.
two, the number two way is digital policing.
Yeah.
Police, digital policing, where they have cameras everywhere, deducting points from
And
visual
fines.
recognition from its own citizens
Yeah.
for social misconduct, spitting, throwing trash, over speeding, parking in the wrong places, loud music. Everybody is in the digital police database, and they have points that are deducted from them.
Yeah.
And then when you get
Or
fined,
fines. Yeah.
everybody's money is attached to WeChat, and the fine is deducted directly from your WeChat account.
Thank you.
The
So you are good.
rulers own the country.
Listen, I don't dispute, and I've given you the example of Kagame. You see, Kagame does the same thing. You try to bring anything here because people, number one, is this authoritative, yeah. But at the same time, he's doing something for the people. It's the same thing. Whatever example you're giving, go to China. It's the same thing. You will get hanged for stealing. I don't know what. You hang your ministers. You hang your former politicians. Can you imagine here where if Ruto hanged Uhuru, and people will back you because you are doing the right thing? Human natures or human beings are not 100% perfect. You are not infallible. Even me, sometimes you might drive and you look around, let me throw this thing in a forest. It happens. Like in Dubai, for example, there is this lane, there's that like 4 lane, and then there's the fifth lane, which is an emergency lane. So even if you're in traffic, that lane is always
Empty.
free. The moment you just go this way, you are given a 200, 300 dirham fine, hefty fine. You see, those things enhance discipline. But the ability of people to be disciplined, this is now my very important point. I don't know if you're ignoring,
But
but the ability.
my point here is
Mm.
100% of the population of Dubai are people who come from countries where they would not obey that particular rule. So they
Yes,
don't obey. They don't obey it because Dubai is offering them services. They obey it because the rulers have made that
they
rule.
have found a system that exists. Yes. And they
Yes.
know the consequences. Like, for example, we're talking about this issue of phones. So I can walk in the downtown Dubai and I feel like my phone. And I was asking this lady, I was asking her, what will happen? I was going to a taxi. And apparently, what will happen? So I've heard that stealing someone's phone is very serious. Like, it's a very serious crime. So I'm looking at this. It's like we're waiting for a taxi, and I ask her, what will happen if somebody steals my phone and disappears in thin air? So I'm now trying to see the what can actually happen. Because I'm looking at it, this person can actually take my phone and as an pickpocket, wherever, and he disappears with it. What will happen? So if you're looking at it critically, this person can actually get away with it. You can actually steal my phone and I don't find you and you don't get found. But there is this fear that these are the consequences of my action. that if one person you are caught stealing a phone, you are made an example. That in China, if you are a public servant and you are caught stealing or in serious corruption, you are made an example. So it is the responsibility of the rulers or the government to implement some of these things. But when you have a government that awards, the more corrupt you are, the more you are taken in. The more rogue you are, the more you are taken in. The politicians themselves are the most indisciplined people. They're the people who cross, they walk on the wrong lane. You see? So how do you expect your subjects to be disciplined when you yourself are not? It is the presidential motorcade that kills people all over. So you see, so
You
if
know,
if you look at how the ruler,
you
if for
know,
example the ruler. Mhm.
um, the there was other Secretary of State in Obama days, and she was driving through an African country. I cannot remember what country it was. One of those, Cameroon or some
Mm,
godforsaken country in West Africa,
mm,
and it was through a village. And one of the kids, a boy, the way kids get curious when they hear vehicles, especially in the villages where they don't get to see vehicles. One of the kids ran and actually was hit in a and killed in one of
yeah.
those motorcades. This, I can't remember what this woman's name was. She was a very senior. I think she was secretary.
Hillary Clinton.
No, somebody below Hillary, but in that Ministry of Foreign Affairs,
Yeah.
Department of State. It's a woman like Pamela somebody. I remember her very well. Powell. Her name
Powell.
was somebody Powell. Yes,
Mm.
she was going through this place in West Africa, and one of the kids was hit in her motorcade and died. So these things happen everywhere. Also, what they
No,
did
no, no.
is they just took
Yeah.
the whole family and they gave them American dream and brought them to America to
But
suffer
you
here
see,
like
but you
like
see
the rest of
now,
the
but you see
Africans.
now, yeah, the
So
motorcade is
these
one
things
thing.
happen
No,
everywhere,
no, no,
bro.
no, no,
The
no. But
problem
you see,
is the
listen,
problem is Ruto
listen.
is traveling too much. We start complaining.
No, no,
He's
no,
not
no, no, no.
traveling.
Listen.
Something is wrong. He needs
You
to
see,
go start seeing people in the machinani. He go to Mother North. Oh, that's the wrong place for him to go. He needs to go to this other place. He go to this other place. Then there is a kid that is
you're
killed. Now
ignoring, you're
that becomes a
ignoring,
problem.
you're
He wears
ignoring,
a red
you're
shirt. That is a
ignoring,
problem. He
you're
wears a
ignoring,
good watch. That is a problem.
you're ignoring a fundamental
You
thing.
are looking for
Listen.
a reason to
No, 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 no,
complain.
no, no, no. But then let me tell you something. Nobody wants to be president. If you look at this Gen Z, no one has ever said. That's why you see they are
I
leaderless.
mean, I look at
Forget,
Gen Zs as I look at Gen Zs as Central Province Kikuyus, misinformed,
forget,
uninformed,
forget
disinformed.
about the Rigijis and the Kalonzos who are tapping on their resistance. But to be honest, nobody wants to be president. The point I'm asking you, IQ, you go to me. I've been a doctor. You go to a serious level 5 county hospital. There is no glove. There is no paracetamol. There is
That's a
literally
that's a
there's
that's a
wait.
failure of the system, not the
No,
government.
wait. But Oscar Sudi, who's your right hand man as the president,
You
next.
see,
Wait, wait.
you're always going to find reasons to complain.
Not
There's always
reasons.
going to be a
So
there's
who is
always going to
supposed
be a COD.
but when you
There's
say
always
who is
going to be a
when
moral
you say
command.
so when you say no, 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 that's not the issue. When you say this is a failure of the system, so you want me to go and build a hospital and equip it, a
Do you
public
know?
hospital?
Do you know the kind of things the Emiratis that are running
I
the
know,
country? Do you know
I
the
know,
kind of things they do
I know,
in in
I
in
know,
in, in foreign countries?
I know. Not even for even the same
I
place.
mean,
I know.
what do you
Yes.
what do you think? What do you think golden showers are, and who do you think perform
I
golden
know, I
showers?
know. In fact, I know a lady who has been in that
So what
situation.
are you saying, bro?
Listen, and this is I come back to my. You see now you're going round. You agree with me that human nature we are not infallible. This person who today says do not shit here, he's doing something different. Like as if you're saying don't use porn, he's using that is okay. But there are those things that you must give your people that even allows you to get away with some things. All these countries that you are mentioning, there's the authority. You have authority. Ruto has authority. Ruto has the military. That's why you can say shoot anyone and you'll be shot. and there'll be no consequences to him. That's why you can go and arrest anyone.
The
Listen,
government has monopoly of violence, something the
yes,
Gen Zs have not come to term with.
now, and that monopoly violence is power. That you can do shit
That's
and
it.
get away with. You see,
Yes.
this is what the Emiratis have. This is what the Russian Putin has. This is what you see, like Putin, the way he stands in Moscow and the Russians come around him. You see, he kills the political opponents. He bombs them in the air. You cannot dissent anything.
Yes.
That is
It's a very
power.
good. It's a very good thing.
Yes, and the Russians like it. Why? Because they feel President Putin is taking us somewhere. If elections are held today, Putin will still win. Kagame will still win. The Chinese president will still win. The reason why people tend to disrespect Ruto is because you're not getting the basics right. You have
We
power. For
he
example, let
shouldn't
me ask
care
you a
about
question.
he shouldn't
Let me
care
ask you a
about your
question.
respect. Your
Let me,
respect is meaningless and worthless.
no, he does. If you did it,
Give that respect to your fathers.
have you seen any president going and in fact he's the most disrespected president. Power comes with respect. That's why Trump will tell a reporter, respect me. That's why you cannot dare go and tweet nonsense about an Emirati. You cannot go and tweet, oh,
But
you cannot,
but
you cannot, you
so
cannot be in China and say,
you accept it when it's the Emiratis coming after people who are tweeting negative stuff about them. But when it's done in
no.
Kenya,
I'm
it's
saying,
abduction.
no. I'm saying, like, when you have power, Ruto has the autonomy of even kidnapping me right now. He can come and kidnap. He has that power. I'm only saying, why are you not putting your power in the right use? Why don't you jail these people? You have the power. Decide to monopolize the EACC. Decide to wherever the
The problem the limitations of the
bureaucracy.
office. The limitations of the office. If there was security of tenure for 20 years, then he wouldn't have to associate with 99% of the people he associates with. He wouldn't have to perform for the common mwananchi. He would just have to do his job the way he thinks he should do his job. And you have a problem with it, go somewhere else. But because of these limitations of power of office limits, these
Mm.
useless cycles of 5-year elections, then all that nonsense is going to happen and nothing is going to be achieved. 99% of the problems of Kenya would be solved if we eliminated presidential elections for a period of 20 years and kept the current president.
Yeah.
The same one for 20 years. 99% of the problems will be solved because now he doesn't
So
have to be. He doesn't have to work with the guys you are mentioning. He would work with the real people because he's not worried about gaining your vote. You can show your vote, God knows where. But as long as there is these 5-year cycles of elections, nothing in Africa will ever get done. The only two places that are enjoying that autonomy is Kagame and Museveni. You think Ugandans complain about their president? Those are noisemakers in the capital.
no, they don't. They don't. But you see now why
Majority
they
of the
don't.
people are happy
And
with
that's
the
why I told
system.
you. And that's why I told you.
You see these people when it's not politics, the kind of things they talk about.
Mm.
They are doctors and lawyers, and they show us big mansions and big investments.
And you see, that's what I'm
The
saying.
noisemakers is the Bobby Wines nonsense
Yeah,
of
I
small
agree.
boy
You and,
Boni
and that's
Boniface
and that's
Mwondi.
and that's why I'm saying. I think okay, you make a valid point that I've been politically I have political I owe people political favors. For example, this corrupt guy has given me his billions to my presidential campaign, so I am indebted to him. That is okay. But all this at plays, or all this which is also fact, it happens even in the US, where you have to owe your political donors. They say Obama was a captive
I
of
mean,
the Soros and stuff. Mm.
the guy in charge of the Ministry of Defense in America.
Except,
He's a political pundit on a Fox
yeah.
News TV. You
But
know,
what is wrong with me?
I don't follow
But what is it?
politics
No,
at
but what is
all.
wrong? But
I just learned that the other day.
no. That is the now you're eating into the Democrats' propaganda. He was a political pundit, but a very distinguished military guy. Go and read this
Yeah.
CV. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's actually, and then one thing again, he conforms to the ideologies of Trump. He's against DEI in military. He's against gayism in military, and he has been very focused on it. He has gone to, I think, Yale and Princeton. He has served in Iraq. He has served in Afghanistan. I
But
mean, that guy.
if I presented to you that
Mm,
this guy is a former CEO of the biggest bank in Saudi Arabia and
mm.
also worked in a big bank in UAE before coming to Kenya and becoming Moses Kuria, you would find something wrong with Moses Kuria.
No, now let me tell you something. I would the problem is, you
if
see now the
if
problem.
if I
No,
change the name
no.
Moses Kuria for
Listen,
for for
listen.
for
Now
for the
this is the
young
problem.
Mutua,
This is the
what is the
problem.
young Mutua's name?
Listen, listen. Oh, Fred.
Freddie Mutua.
Mm.
I mean, he also did very well in the Middle
Yeah.
East.
You see the
Moses Kuria was leading
now the problem
a
is,
financial institution in
yes.
KSA.
The problem is you come with your, you know, now you see the problem with Moses Kuria. No one doubts his, let's say, brilliance in terms of economy and the banking sector and those things, right? But what does he do? How did Moses Kuria come to limelight politically? He had to insult Raila Odinga. He had to get Maki. He had to say Wajaruo Kihi. That is how
Now,
Moses Kuria.
now, now,
Listen, wait,
now, now,
wait,
imagine,
wait.
imagine,
So if I imagine me,
imagine if we
wait,
took
wait, wait,
if we
wait.
took
I'm
the
giving.
political limitations of him having to audition to a particular group of ignorant
Let
Kikuyus
me
to
explain
be
that.
elected,
Let me
and
explain that.
we only hire him from the resume of UAE and
No, no, no,
KSA.
no. No, my problem is now you see what has happened. So Moses Kuria, we failed to get the best of Moses Kuria. And we get this side of Moses Kuria. You see, now he's reduced to a blogger tweeting nonsense all the time, drunk
Yes,
tweeting. You can imagine. So it's like
yes.
me when now I want to become a minister of health. Now I go and start saying, because now I'm rude, I start saying insulting Kikuyus to earn political favor. Then I get appointed to the government. Then I
I would
lose.
understand. I would
Yes, you
understand
see.
if you sorted
So
Kikuyus.
Moses Kuria is brilliant. Me, I've never had an issue with him. But what is he known for? Nobody can say this is a policy. Even when he was the minister for trade, he was trying to do something, trade center and those kind of things. But on this other side, you're political. Unatusiana na
Term
refugees,
limits.
nini, nini. So you see, your brilliance disappears.
So
And that's why they say,
if we eliminated term limits on the presidential level, then the president would tap in that other Moses Kuria.
now you
He would tap
see,
in that other Moses Kuria. The
now
same
you see, and
guy,
that's and it all
different
goes down.
service.
And it all goes down to personal principles as well. Because there are so many brilliant Moses Kurias who have decided to be there's so many Kenyans out there doing great things out there. They want to be politically. You see, like Bitange Ndemo, for example. I think he's ambassador to somewhere. He was appointed the VC of UN. He had an option of coming there and being involved in. He was actually a very brilliant ICT minister. I think during Kiba, I think you remember him. So he has this option of coming and joining the political scene and being politically involved, or he has this option of remaining where he's doing well as a technocrat. So now it's a wasted potential. Like we are wasting Moses Kuria's potential. Now he's reduced to a blogger. He's now reduced to a kehe, this kind of nonsense and those kind of things. You see,
Yeah.
but at the same time, he has the president's ear, and that's why I like somebody like Kibaki, because Kibaki did a lot of maybe, but there are people who would, even Moi, you would have people at least anajua there is somebody who can do something in this sector.
You know, we have a saying. We have a saying in our country, in my Kikuyu land,
Mm,
that a cow is only praised after it's dead. That one
yeah.
used to produce very good milk.
Mm.
Ngobe, ngobe. I can't even, now
So
I just forgot how it says in Kikuyu. So you can see all those good things about Moi, about Kibaki, even about Uhuru, because they are no longer there. But in the moment, you
no,
found something wrong with them.
I've told you, by the way,
Era Waidi
I've told you,
is
I
the
think
actual
I've
saying.
told you that I've told you I'm one of those people who is very fair to Ruto, that I don't expect you to do magic in the first one. In fact, the first year is just politics. I don't expect you to do magic.
All right.
Okay?
We've been
But
talking
I
for
expect
we've been talking for 3.5 hours.
we're
If
almost
you're going to
ending now.
extend this for more than 5 minutes, I
No,
have
no,
to
no,
use the
no.
bathroom.
No, I want also to do some work. Now, as we wind up in the next 5 minutes, I'm just saying, as we end on this political name, I'm saying I don't expect him to do magic over 2 years, literally. I agree with that
Yeah.
concept. Number one. Number two, I also agree that we need a term extension. I agree with that. Even in the US, it's very destructive.
Elimination of term limits is the right
Or
word.
at least 7 years. At
But
least.
we have the article allowing the impeachment of a president if you're
Wait,
not happy
wait.
with it.
No, no, no. That doesn't
So
count. If you
that should be
unless
the
you're
valve gate.
unless you are political one ability of being a good politician, and I've said it, you have to know how to whip. You must be a good political merchant. If you are, that's why I say Rigiji is not a good. He was not Ruto outsmarted or outwitted Rigiji. You get, so you must be a good political
Rigiji
for
is
you
a
to be
project.
impeached.
We
Yes.
should forget him.
So that's what I'm saying. If you can campaign enough and convince 8 million people to vote for you as president, I'm assuming you have this political intelligence, you are smart politically. So things like impeachment are an issues. I agree that we should need 7 years minimum because there's a lot of distractions. But more importantly, in this
Wait,
context of in on this context of Ruto, I'm saying I don't expect him to do everything perfect. But there are those things that you can do, simple things. Okay? Simple things. At least make an effort to curb corruption. At least
so
make an
all we need is your input inside the system. So we need to find
yeah.
a way to put you
Now
inside the system.
let him have political goodwill.
No, we need
Now,
your input inside the government system. So
now
let's
when I
find a way to put you to be useful inside of the system.
what if I get there and I'm being told I have to be a Moses Kuria? I have now to stand there and insult Cleophas Malala, my
We
trans
we we
person. You
have
see?
we have somebody who preceded you who was exactly like that. His name
Uh-huh.
was John Githongo.
Yeah, yeah, you see like the dongo.
Yes.
A brilliant mind.
He came there. He was assured security of tenure
Everything.
and the
Thank
support of
you.
the system. Then
Thank
the people he was investigating, one of the people was Anglo-Leasing vice president himself. What
you.
was his
Yes.
name from your countryside?
The Chris
The
Okemo.
one, no, the vice president from your countryside.
Wamalwa.
No. The older one from Kibaki days. What was his name? Moli, not
Wam-
Molino.
Masinde Muliro.
No, he's still alive.
Wamalwa Kijana is alive.
He's an
Oh,
old guy.
Mudi Awori.
Mudiawori
Ah,
was the first. The, Gidongo comes in to investigate whatever agro-leasing, whatever it was. And the first culprit is Mudiawori.
Mudi.
So he was like, what is this?
You see? And you see now you either decide to become now one of them, a Moses Kuria, get Maki, or you decide to leave. You see, even PLO Lumumba tried to be ESCC, I don't know what, with those many things. You
You know,
cannot
that's where I
fight.
was going. That's where I was going when I was asking you, how much
Yeah.
would you want to be paid for you to do your job
No,
without thinking about anything else?
I can't now.
They paid Lumumba 1 million Kenya shillings. Adjusted for inflation, it's almost 2 million now.
Yeah. But
And he was
but you see,
totally useless.
now he's not. He was. You see now they made him useless.
No, he was
No,
useless.
I remember there was a time in Parliament, even the
One
charity
moment,
give
one
you.
moment. I want to have that conversation. Just give me 20 seconds. So Lumumba was useless in this regard. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he was given 1 million Kenya shillings every month to
Mm-hmm.
fight corruption in Kenya. He was given an office at Integrity House.
Mm-hmm.
He was given autonomy power,
No.
and that's debatable.
No.
This is why it's autonomous power.
Mm.
He had the power to influence policy to his favor.
No.
When he reported to work, listen, just listen to me.
Yes, I'm listening.
When he reported to work and he found out like there's a power I don't have, he should have demanded that power instead of reporting that power is not there. When
Now,
he was confronted with the issue of the assistant minister for water, who he was prosecuting, or he had investigated and needed prosecution, and he realized he does not have prosecutory powers, instead of going to report, oh, look at me, I don't have the power to prosecute assistant minister for water,
mm-hmm.
he should have influenced the system to give him special prosecuting powers, like the ones granted. You are not listening. You just want to
I'm
respond.
listening. I'm listening. I want to
Like
respond.
the
I'm
one-
listening.
like the ones granted to special prosecutors, like the government attorneys in America. Like which case is most prominent?
Let's say
Like
let's say even with the ones
let's
that
even
were
do,
the Trump, the ones that are going after Trump.
yeah, the one for Trump, and there was this other crazy governor of Illinois when Obama was senator.
Mm. Mm.
When Obama won the presidency, he was still U.S. senator from Illinois,
Yes.
so he had to vacate that U.S. senator post to become president.
Yeah.
The role of replacing him was left to the governor
The
Brogogio.
governor
Was
does that. The governor does
Brogogio
that.
guy? Was his Brogogio? Whatever his fucker
Yeah.
name was.
Yeah.
He was caught bargaining to sell that post. So there was a special prosecutor,
Mm-hmm.
district attorneys that are appointed
Mm-hmm.
special by the State Department
Yes.
specifically to prosecute that federal crime. So Mulumumba should have asked for
No.
that special power
Now let me ask you a question.
to
Do you remember?
prosecute people who are too powerful to be taken
But
through the legal system.
But do you know what happened? Because these things that you are asking are good on paper. And that's why I say what has held the United States for so long, despite being a very funny country, is structures and systems that I can actually go and prosecute Trump. I'm seeing they're coming for Obama with the Russia thing. You know, we can investigate hide the laptops. There's that autonomy of freedom of the justice system. In Kenya, do you know what happened to Lumumba? Do you remember how he was kicked out? It's actually the same place that was supposed to give him. I remember very well Charity Ngilu standing and saying, "You cannot come." In fact, it's Parliament that kicked Lumumba out. I remember very well that parliamentary session. They said, "You're
So
not doing." Wait,
as powerful as he was, he should not have acted as subservient to anybody.
but you
He
see, the
should
point
he
is,
should have consolidated
but you see,
the
you remember
power
that
from
time,
within him
but
so that he
but,
can demand.
but you remember.
Because remember, here is the selling point.
Mhm.
There was the public opinion in his favor. There was the will of the people. And at the time, the government wanted to be seen to be fighting
Yeah.
corruption. He
Uh-huh.
should have used that wave to bend the rules in his favor so that he can effectively become successful. But he dialed
Now,
back into his Kenyaism.
you know, it was in 20, I was looking at 2011, 2019, 29th August 2011. Lumumba and his four deputies were kicked out of their offices. Okay, his departure was mandated by legislation. I remember very well. Every member of parliament that day stood up and said, "This person is not fighting corruption; he is fighting us. This person is not fighting corruption; he is fighting us." That day I remember very well. And you see, it's the same parliament. Like in the US, you hear about the committees, the justice committee, the justice department, the justice. They are the people that bring you. You know, if you are charged by something, they sit on it, whether it's the Senate or the House of Representatives, and then you tie it with the prosecutors or the attorneys. But you see, even if you are God, number one, you have to first of all investigate. Number two, when you talk about asking for power, who gives you powers? It's the same parliament.
But the
It's
parliament is the parliament are representative of the people. There
yes,
was the goodwill, an overwhelming goodwill of the people to fight corruption. He should
yes.
have utilized that
But you
very
know,
tiny
but
window
but but you
of
know very
opportunity.
well that politicians rarely represent the will of the people. Because if they did, we'd be making progress. Every Kenyan wants the corrupt to be persecuted, but the first people who take money, who are bribed with 10,000 shillings in toilets, who are paid to impeach governors, it's the same politicians. So that's why I say it is difficult finding yourself in such a position, especially if you want to do. That's why I find most of these people, you'll never find a serious corruption case that is executed to the latter. The only people that are executed are like in this governor of Kiambu, the former governor. These
Why
these
see,
people are not those people are not politically aligned with the system. That's why they go for Natembea because it becomes so when you go to those positions, just go and eat your money and be in power. But you cannot make any meaningful change. And that's why
so
Lumumba
now is
left.
that if you became the director of medical services, is that exactly what you would do?
No, because it's different. Do you know why it's different? But then, listen, like you, but then in the government, as you wind up in the government as it is, they actually 70% of people who do a good job. That's why something is able to run in the first place. That's why exams can be administered. That's why there's something about healthcare because we have 70% of good people who are actually doing a good job. Because if everyone was rogue, nothing will make nothing significant. The economy is growing. There are things positive we are seeing about Kenya because there is a 70% group of people who are actually doing their job. Not everyone in the government space is corrupt. Not everyone in the security system is corrupt. Okay? Not everyone in the presidential team is bad. 70% are doing that. That's why you can actually see some meaningful progress somewhere in the country. It has always been like that since time immemorial. But you see, there are these critical, specific areas. Like if I'm appointed in the ministry, that's why I say I don't want to be the minister of health. I was very categorical because if I go there, you see what Nakuminsha did. She's cried. You go there and you want to take on corrupt cartel in the ministry. Somebody who has been a corrupt cartel there since 1980s. Okay, so you want to go there and try to change everything about. So there are some positions, not that you don't want to change, but you're incapable of. But there are those specific areas that you can actually, for example, look at Uru's time during COVID. I can tell you for sure, we did a very good job during COVID. We actually managed. There was some good things that the ministry did during COVID, and that is because we had 70-80% of people in the Ministry of Health who are actually aware about what they were doing. They were doing something good. Now, the problem comes in, for example, when the concept of healthcare, when the top political system wants to have personal vested interest in that system. Okay, so you want to have now that's what it is alleged that Ruto wants to have. He has his hands in every sector of the economy. So, for example, this share thing, the third party insurance that is now pulling the money, he has shares. The players that are implementing the infrastructures are these Indians. You see, so it comes that it basically what he was talking about state capture when he was campaigning. So you are capturing this system. You come to the education sector, the University of Nairobi, you remove this one, you put your person, you put your permanent secretary there. So basically, you realize that even in the education sector, you want to be your arms to be there. You move there, you go to the finance sector, the same thing. You put your permanent secretary, you put your people in these critical parastatal dockets. You go to the land ministry, you have your personal guy, Korir, who is the PS of land, you put your people there. So you realize it does not mean that all these ministries have bad people. You will become unable to deliver when there's heavy political interference above you. And that's my only issue with President Ruto, that he wants to be everywhere, and that is true. That one you cannot deny. He's putting his things everywhere, and it becomes difficult for the few 70% of us who want to work in that system. So that makes you have just to be you have to conform to what he wants. And most of the times, you find yourself doing something that is against your personal principles, or more importantly, you become caught. Because now the other day, the share guy was saying 100 billion has disappeared. Any normal audit, even a rookie auditor, will be able to trace where this money has gone. But there's no normal civil servant who will want to steal anything at more than 1 billion without the knowledge of the government, without the knowledge of the likes of Murkomen, without the knowledge of these people. So the only problem that we are having, and that's why we are saying, and this is what I want to tell you, it is not that the president does not know there are people who can implement these things. It's not that the president is incapable of going anywhere in the world and be the best engineer in the best engineer in UK. Here is a Kenyan who has designed the London subway system, the Italian system, Brazilian system. You cannot tell me that the president cannot get to this person and tell him, I want you to improve the Nairobi transport system for us. You cannot tell me that they are very big, reputable techie in MIT, in Stanford, Kenyans. You cannot tell me that the president cannot go and talk to this person and bring him to Kenya and tell, I want you to lead our Kenya AI 2030 vision. You see, Kibaki
Yes,
brought.
but the problem is you tell him he doesn't have 2030, which we still go back to security of tenor.
Why are you obsessed with 2030?
I am obsessed with it because it works everywhere.
No. I'm saying
Everywhere.
the point is,
Rwanda would not look the way it looks like if Kagame had
but
had time limit.
but Kibaki,
Saudi Arabia would not look the way it looks like if they did not have the security of tenor. UAE would not look
I
the way it
agree with
looks
you.
like
I
if
agree
they
with
don't
you.
have
But
security of tenor.
Kibaki stole the election.
Singapore would
Listen,
not have looked the way it looked like if they did not have security of tenor. Or
Kibaki
Malaysia.
true. Kibaki,
Brazil, when the juntas captured the government for a period of time, that's when they went into industrial revolution and started building airplanes.
but let
They
me ask
didn't
you a
have to worry
question.
about elections.
Now there are two things. Number one, Kibaki stole the elections in 2007. People did whatever they did.
But we just
They
we just we
wait.
just agreed
They
that the end justified
yes,
the means.
exactly they continued in 2010. He did well. Nobody, everyone, despite his flaws, everyone says Kibaki put money in people's pockets. Simple. You see, nobody will
But
complain. Now,
do we want a constitutional extension of the presidency of Ruto, or where we are going to say he stole the election in 2027? I mean, whatever is
no,
happening here after 2027 is whatever is going to continue there. Because now you're going to be even more amplified that he stole this one. 5 years screaming about stealing.
now let me
Or,
tell.
or recalculate and say, now you have 20 years.
I think that is solely lies. That solely lies on him if you ask me, that solely lies on him as an individual. I'm looking at him.
So
He has
what you're
that.
saying
Listen,
is the
listen.
same things I was saying Lumumba should have done at the Integrity
Yes.
House. Ruto
No,
should
you
do
see
them
now.
for
You see
himself.
now. You see. Do you know what? Because Ruto was. You have read on the making of an anarchy. Ruto has managed to implement around 7 of the 12. He has the parliament. He has captured. He has parliament. Basically, they can do anything. The judiciary is making moves. The military is aligned. He has all their parameters. He's doing things. He can come and say this. So basically, I'm saying where it is right now, Ruto has power. In fact, he's one of the most powerful presidents of our time. He has power. I don't remember the last time Uhuru had this control of parliament. He has gotten rid of his rock. Uhuru could not get rid of Ruto, despite it being a second. You get. So he has power. I don't remember the last time a president had this much power. Maybe during Moi's time. So when you have this power, you have. That's what I'm saying. It's purely on him. Ruto can decide that I'm not going to leave this position. Okay, how I can decide to do A, B, C, D. It's not. But then 2 years is a long time in politics. But if you want to know this guy does not have power, is because his survival as it is right now purely and solely depends on Raila Odinga. That is a fact that you must know and you must acknowledge. Right now, Raila withdraws his troops and his people. Ruto, there's no any mathematical approach that Ruto can win election in 2027. So you are this powerful, but at the same time, your survival depends. If anything happens to Raila between now and 2027,
But
that would be a
but
different ballgame.
my point is there should not be political presidential elections 2027.
I, I, I,
The Kikuyu should be given a chance to choose whatever they want out there in their own countryside, and they keep them for 20 years, but not come here and spoil for the rest of the people.
no, but again, the Kikuyus are
There shouldn't.
critical.
There
But
shouldn't be. There
I'll
shouldn't
still.
be elections. There shouldn't be uh, presidential level elections in
So what should
2027.
happen? Ruto should continue.
20 years.
No, he cannot because he has not. He's losing.
It's
And you
the
see now this.
only formula that is working everywhere,
Yes,
where
but you see now. But
where
you see now.
where those societies have greater socioeconomic privileges for the young people, opportunities for growth. They have industrialized. They have streamlined their economy. They are flourishing. Those
So
people
let
are
me ask you
Saudi
a question.
Arabia. They are
Let me ask you
Saudi
a question.
Arabia. They are UAE.
Let me ask you a
They
question.
are.
So how do you think? How do you think he can implement that as it is?
I mean, you just said it's upon to him. He's the most powerful
Yes,
president we have so far.
but you
So
see
he
now.
he, he will he will have to do what he has to do.
Now you see now the problem is again. So for example, there are two. There's one. So you decide to go to an election. Of course, an election will have to be there.
Me, as the bare minimum that I'm going to accept from him is to prevent Kikuyus from ever voting again. That one, I'll be like, okay, now we are headed somewhere.
He cannot because it's
You
the
know, you
same.
know, you know,
Listen,
you
listen,
know,
listen.
you
You
know
know, do you
that
know how?
semi-autonomous location place called Catania or something in Italy,
Mhm.
or is it in
In,
Spain?
in Spain, Catalonia.
And you know that
Okay,
place.
you see,
You know that. You know
Catalonia
the.
wanted
You
to
know the.
secede. They wanted to
You
secede.
know those. You know the Kurds in
Yes,
northern Iraqi,
Iraq. Yeah,
the
but
Rohingyas, the
let me ask you a
Yurgas.
question. But let me ask you a question. One thing that
Semi-autonomous societies have
listen, but
always
one thing
existed.
that we see now when you're talking about, for example,
Even in Russia, what do you call those guys
listen,
in Russia that cause
listen,
trouble
listen.
with
Even
Putin?
but you see when you talk about it, these examples that you're giving. Let's talk about Catalonia. You see, and Spain. Of course, they are part of Spain, but even everything about them is different. They have their own culture, they have their own political system, they have their own whatever, and they feel like they are contributing.
Even the
Listen,
French of Canada in Quebec.
yes, but you see now the difference between that and them is Spain has a system that is led in Madrid. You see, so even those people who are rioting during the Catalonia secession, the Spanish government was able to deal with them. Remember during time ya Kibaki, Pwani si Kenya, and that kind of nonsense. The government was able to rein even subaltern defense forces. The government was able to descend on those people. Now,
So this is the
wait,
opposite of semi-autonomy.
yes, but but
I actually want the Kikuyus granted that for free. They don't have
no,
to
but they
ask
cannot.
for it. They
But
don't
there's
have
no
to
government.
demand
But you
it.
see
They don't
now.
have to riot. Just
But you see now
remove them
how.
from contaminating elections.
But you see now how because even the president himself now, if it was not for Mount Kenya, he will not be president. They control.
No,
He has tried. He
imagine
has tried.
removing that 3% of the voters from
But
the
what
equation, so
now?
that
When you let me ask you a
they
question
are no longer a factor where
now.
you need to go audition to them for 4 years
Now removing,
before
but
nomination.
why are they auditioning on them? Number one, they are big economic players.
No, those are useless
Yes.
human beings.
No. The economy,
No,
Kenyan, look at
they,
the Kenya's
the, the,
economy.
the, the economic players align themselves with the system.
No, but they are Kikuyus. They have relatives in
Yes,
James Mwangi
they
has relatives in Muranga and within and even
wrong.
you see.
Everybody is there for themselves.
No, but you see again now look at, for example, Kikuyus, for example, as a people. I was born and raised in Eldoret. They are among the top business people in these are not politically related. These are just Kikuyu being
They
industrious in nature.
behave. They
You see,
behave
yes,
because they know
these are
what they
Kikuyus.
know why they are there.
These are Kikuyus being industrious in nature, working hard and those kind. They're all over the
Exactly.
country.
Those are not the people I'm
But you
talking about.
see,
I'm talking
but you
about these
see,
useless drunkards
but
in the
no,
small shopping centers
but
that
one
know
thing you
everything about who should be president. They
but
should
one
not be
thing you
given the power
forget,
to vote.
one thing you forget, Akikuyu in Turkana or Lodwar has ties in Kiambu. You are in the US. You have ties in your Muranga home. It's the same thing with the Israelites. The Jewish in the US or in the world resonate more with the Israel fight against this nonsense happening in Middle East. So it becomes very difficult. Even if I intermarry, I still have my roots at home. So
You are dismissing the value of the autonomy of Central Kenya that I'm
it's
offering.
impossible. It's impossible because
It's
it's a it's
anything for them not to vote in general elections. Anything.
so how
Because their vote is the one that causes 99% of the problems in Kenya.
and
Hands
so
down.
as you want this is as you want and that's what I'm saying. You see, and that's why somebody like Nani is very powerful. Somebody like Rigiji is very powerful, and he
Ligiji is not
knows.
powerful. Ligiji is not
Listen,
powerful anywhere.
listen.
Nowhere.
As it is now, as it is now. Tell me any
Ligiji is
Kikuyu
a
lead.
project.
No. But he's using what is
Ligiji is a
making him relevant.
project.
What is making him relevant? It's the Kikuyu factor.
Ligiji is a project. You will forget Ligiji before Christmas.
You are
Revisit this
sure?
tape. Revisit this tape.
So let me ask you a question. So what is your issue with so the Kikuyus currently are not following Rigiji? Like I want to understand the Kikuyu factor because when you talk about the Kikuyu among the
Oh
Mulima,
no.
it is
No. So
eh,
probably I need to explain that.
yeah.
So when we started 4 hours ago, you told me how you have benefited from the equity Mwondi.
Yes, the yeah.
You went to Nyagatogu and saw that countryside of the Kikuyus.
Mm,
There is the Karauris. There is the Mainawajigi family. There is the Njenga family. There
mm,
is the Kirema family. Those people are inside the system.
yeah.
We see now they are second generation children
Yeah.
leading inside the systems. They are
Yeah.
occupying positions of power and influence.
Yeah.
Those people, they identify themselves with the country, with what they can give and what they can get from the country. The problem is
The
this
villagers.
misinformed, disinformed, uninformed retards scattered all over central Kenya. Bro, I
Mm,
am a Kikuyu. I should be
mm,
indented into protecting mediocrity. I am not going to
mm,
go there. No.
mm,
Those people have no place voting in national elections.
mm.
They have no idea what they are voting for. They demonstrated that in 1992 when they could vote for a goat that stood on a for the Asiri candidate party
Mm.
because they have no idea what they are voting for. Why should we keep that nonsense going for another decade? So we should tell them
You have a
we don't have
you
a
have
problem with you choosing your Mwangoiria or Irungu or whoever you want, keep them for as long as you want. If you want to fire them tomorrow after you vote them today, do that.
you
But
have
don't
a
contaminate the rest of the country with that nonsense.
you have an idea, you have a concept, but the implementation is difficult because of
Oh, but
how deeply rooted they are.
I'm saying it I'm saying it very raw
Because let me tell you
as a
something.
layman.
Because you see, if you
No,
talk about
one moment. I'm saying it very raw as a layman.
yes,
Like this is what should happen. But
That is
Ruto is a
the house
Ruto
now.
is
Is it because if you look even at
Ruto is a
this,
genius.
if you
Ruto is
look
a
at this,
genius. He's
if
going
you
to
look at
head there.
this, let's wait because they'll fight back. Because even if you look at this Kikuyu elites, number one, their primary base, it's these Mulima people. If you look at, for example, when I was in Equity, when you talk about the financial nini, you see the big customers, the big, as in the loyal, they have this loyal. You see, their ability to thrive well as businessmen is because they have this solid base that supports their product. If
Outside, my
wait,
friend, this
mm,
is where we started.
mm,
Outside of Mongi of Equity,
mm,
there is nobody else in Kikuyu land who depends, who
on
has
the
a
central,
product that
mm,
is widespread in Kikuyu land.
mhm.
Not even the Kenya breweries. The Kikuyus in
They,
central Kenya are not drinking Kenya breweries beverages.
yeah, yeah.
So the
So
Kikuyu elites do not have a product that depends on the useless Kikuyus in central Kenya
so
to
let me ask you a
purchase.
question as we
They
wind up. So
don't.
so do
They
you think?
don't.
So do you think these elites are willing? Because it will be like now, let me say abandoning their people, but going against their people.
They don't have people. Their people are their customers. Their customers are in Nairobi.
Yes,
Their customers
yes.
in Rift
Now,
Valley.
as has it happened before? Because again, these people are very smart. Most of them tend to just be politically correct. They align themselves with the, especially now, like last election, you could not
You,
hear
you,
that
you,
this.
you don't know how dead Moranga is. You don't
Yeah,
know
I
how
know.
dead
I've been there. I've been there.
Kereaine is. You don't
Nyeri,
know how
Nyeri.
dead Nyeri is. You don't
I
know
know.
how dead Karatina is.
I know. I've been there. I know that how the towns look and those kind of things. You even wonder. That is.
That is a representation of the people there. I mean,
Mm.
why would we be listening to somebody who has that environment? Nige kira vina bere haha. Why should we empower them so much that they
Eh,
influence the outcome of general elections? We shouldn't. We shouldn't.
okay. I think we have had a very nice conversation. The reason why,
I
in fact,
know.
I've taken my 4 hours, which was interesting. I didn't even know it is 4 hours because I'm seeing. Next time, bring me. I'm always available to have these conversations. But of
You
course,
know
I
when you
want to. Yeah.
I want to remind you when you text me,
Mm.
you asked for 5 to 10 minutes.
No, 5 to 10 minutes for something different. This one for
We'll
the
talk about that in private.
yeah
Yes.
for the podcast. I can always create because it's an interactive conversation. You can always talk about anything. I think I'm one of the few people. I'm one of the few Gen Zs who can have a conversation with you easily, yeah, without many
I think
issues. And
you have a very added advantage.
yeah,
I have a very soft spot for smart people.
yeah,
Smart people
but
intrigue me.
there, I was before I texted you that day. I was talking to this friend of mine. So there's a friend of mine who there are three of them. Those tech that I'm telling you about. So they built a company called Sanifu. It was in 2022. They were incorporated in Y Combinator. You know Y Combinator, this company that hosts the like of Uber. Sam Altman was the president of Y Combinator. So
Mhm,
they
mhm.
look at tech companies. Even Uber was hosted in Y Combinator. So Uber, Airbnb. So they look at these companies that are startups and they incorporate them in a hub. It's like now they help you grow, they give you funding and those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah,
So these people,
we call them incubators.
incubators,
In
yes.
in downtown Austin, there's a big one called uh something Capital Central,
Mm,
something. I have two
yeah,
customers from there.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I've known
Let me
this.
see.
So this
Let
guy,
me
this
see if
guy,
I can find real quick with an email address.
uh,
Oh, Dr. Kwan. Kwan. How do you spell Kwan? Yeah. Uh she uses a different email.
mm,
Um I know another guy who works at the Capitol. Something Capital. Here we can ask this girl.
mm.
In downtown Austin, there is an investment incubator with the name Capital on it. It's on East 7.
Or Texas Capital Hub.
The Capital Factory Investment Incubator.
Capital Factory. Capital Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Capital
Yeah.
Factory.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
so one of them was my classmate in med school. He was a top boy. In fact, together we went to Nyagatugu. So he was a top
mhm.
boy in Maranda. He was number 5, and the other one was, so we went to med school. He wanted to be a neurosurgeon, blah blah blah. So they got
It's the
into
same
tech.
guy that went to Stanford.
No. So the Stanford, he went there. So this guy came from another school. So we met at James Mwangi's ELP. So this
Okay.
was the top boy in Maranda. So he was the top boy in Nyanza. May came from West Pokot. Another guy came from wherever. So we met. Then now you meet the top people. Then we went to med school. And then when we were in third year, fourth year, he quit. So we started coding, in campus, YouTube. Then he decided to quit, like what tech people do. And then he went and built several things. So there are three of them. So one of the things they built is this Y Combinator, this Sanifu thing that got them to YC. Of course, they have done well. They have expanded to South Africa. Because now the target market was Kenya, and you see they're
Mhm.
finding that it's not very rewarding.
Mhm.
They have expanded to SA. They have expanded to Nigeria. I was telling them to try Dubai. So they want to go to Texas. They've been exploring the American market. They are coming to Texas, I think, in September.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they want, you see, most tech companies are going to Texas. There's a place
Yeah.
called, is it Albanin, where there's these batteries for AI in Texas. Abilene.
Berlin is on. I think is in the metropolitan of Dallas. Yes.
Yes, yes. Where now most of these AI companies, ChatGPT, they're setting up their energy center.
Yeah.
So they're trying to rush to that market. They're not
Yeah.
sure how to maneuver around Texas. So he listens to your podcast, by the way. He's one of the people who helped Kibe in the initial stages of why Africa, wherever, Africa. I think he
Mhm.
said Kibe did not listen to his idea, so he left. So he's into tech. So he was listening to your podcast. I think he listens to you a lot, and you are giving your story, Texas, blah blah. So I think he DM'd you, you did not see, or you thought it's one of those riffraffs that disturb you. So he was mentioning when I was with him on Friday, we were just catching up. I was telling him what I'm doing, what he's doing. And then I tell him I know IQ. IQ is very close to me. When I call him, he'll definitely respond to me. So they were asking, I think that time he left. When he told me 2 hours, but he left. So I told him
Yeah.
he needs to. So basically, he called me today, and then I said I need to find 2, 3. That's what I'm saying, 5, 10 minutes where we can. So what basically
Okay.
he wants to know how they want to open a company in Texas. They want to to get their tech company in Texas.
Yeah.
There's a guy known Mbesa. He builds these computer things. He's also in Texas. So he has been trying
Okay.
also to get his company where tech is moving, trying to set up a company there. So they felt like you, with your experience, you can guide them here and there. When they're in Texas, you can see what you can, you understand?
No, I know the right people, and probably what I'll do is
Yeah.
we're gonna have the same forum like this one,
Yeah.
and I bring a guy that I know can show them the way,
Okay.
and your guy join in. So how
How
many
many
are
people
they?
can join in the podcast? I've
I don't know.
never.
Maybe a lot. I don't know.
Oh,
I'll
nice.
have to test it out. But it's more than three. I have been with
Oh,
three people so far.
great.
So
So I can organize.
I'll bring the guy. He's a big cheese, and
Okay.
he would be the right person to do that. And
That's
then
fine.
your guys can
So
talk to him directly without having package the
yeah.
information and then relay to
So
him,
they can,
and
and it's also
me
good.
with
It
my
can also. I
and
think
me
it's
with
also.
my limited information. Much of it gets lost in the translation. So
I
it's
think
best if I
it can
put you
also
in the place of
be.
this guy.
I think it can also be good when you put it here. So there's so many people also are trying to see how they can get into that space. So it becomes
Yeah,
enlightening for other tech people, because I'm seeing people trying to get into that market, because here things are not very okay. You have made here a few millions here and there, but the desire to grow into that market
yeah.
is what is they are looking for. Yeah. So I think after this, I'm
So
going
I
to
will
call him, and then you'll tell me the day.
we will set on a time. You
Yeah.
have to be punctual because we don't have African time here.
Okay.
And then my guy shows up and your guy shows up, and then you field the conversation and you take it where you want to take it. He's very, very rounded guy with information. You'll be the
Oh, nice.
best person for this.
Okay, let me talk to him, and then because them they're available, so maybe it
Yeah.
depends on you and your guy, and
Yeah.
then I'll tell you no, and then when he's available, I can organize them.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
can
my,
they
my
can
guy
come.
my guy my guy will be available. If I ask, he'll just give me a date and he'll be ready.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, Sawa, nice
All right,
interacting
man.
with you. I'll be in Texas. I'll be in the US maybe December, so I come. I'm going to the UK first, then I come there.
Yeah.
I'll come. Take me to that river,
Which one?
San Antonio Pass. San Antonio.
Oh,
You said
the
San
San
Antonio.
Antonio Riverwalk. Oh, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
when I come to Antel Ruto, I can do this in Nairobi River.
If you come with a good time when the weather permits, I'll fly you over the helicopter to
Yeah.
I mean to what they have done with our one of we have three different lakes,
Hmm.
and every lake has its purpose and economic activities around it.
Activity around it. Yeah.
So there's one in downtown, there is one above downtown, and there's a big one on the very west side. And the
Hmm.
best way to see the economic activities of it is on a helicopter. I can
How
take
is
you there and you see how mind-boggling
how
what
is
people have done with water.
I'm always intrigued by the governor of Texas. Yeah.
Yeah,
Abbott.
yeah.
Especially after the accident and how he goes around it. How do you perceive him as a person? As in what?
I've,
As a
I've,
leader? Yeah.
I have met him.
Uh-huh.
He came to a restaurant where I was with a girl. She was not my girlfriend, and and I was my my back was to where they came and sat, and the girl
Mm.
said, "That is your governor." And I looked, and sure enough, it was him. So I approached the security guys and I say, "Hey," I asked the waiter for a pen and paper, and I wrote him a note. And then I approached the security guys and say, "Hey, I want to give this to the governor." And they said, "Oh no, we can give it to him." I said, "No, I would really want to give it to him." And then he saw my conversation and he
Yeah.
said, "No, no, no, let him come." And I went there, sat there, and we talked a lot of things. This was just after the lockdown had been lifted. And I was
Mm.
telling him how him not abiding with the federal laws of the lockdown
Lockdown. Yeah.
helped our businesses to stay alive.
Mm.
And his insistence on not taking the federal grants for the people who
But,
refuse to go back to work and force them to go back to work is what revived the economy. We talked about so many things. So many
mm.
things. He's a very, very warm guy. And I know people who know him personally, who are
Mm.
politically connected because they give to the
Yeah.
campaigns.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's very decent human being. Yeah.
Very nice. Now those ones we need such people who can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just like him. I like him as a person. I
So
just like.
when 4 hours ago, when I was giving you options of what to do, and one of the options I was going to tell you is go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated.
True.
Stop fighting a losing battle. Stop swimming upstream. Just
Mm.
position yourself like the Stanford guy
Yeah.
and thrive where the fundamentals have been laid out for you to succeed.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Yeah.
working on. That's what I don't know. It's I like creating things for for a soft. I like preparing for a soft landing.
Yeah.
Because I've worked, for example, I work with a lot of American clinics, and most of them tell me come, come, come. But I'm like, there's something that I need to have so that when I come there, it doesn't become like it's retrogressive. You see now what happens? There's misalignment of our systems. You see, for me to fit, for example, in the UAE market, there's something that I have to do so that when I get there, I get the access that I want. I can actually go to Dubai Health Authority. I can talk to people in this level. You get. So I'm looking at the system, I'm looking at how I'm aligning myself so that when I land some in that place, I'm able to start at that level that I want, not necessarily where I would want to be, but that level of access. Because I'm thinking one of the challenges that we face is access. if I just land in
Look up,
Texas.
look up, look up, look up, look up. Kind right now. Kind,
Mhm.
kind clinic. Daniel. Those three words
Kind clinic.
and the name Daniel.
Uh, Daniel. Mm. This one for sexual health services.
No, it's Daniel Lubeski, the Mexican Jewish guy that is on the Shark Tank.
Oh.
So he moved to Austin and he became my customer through his real estate guy, a lady.
Uh-huh.
And his wife is a extremely smart doctor in the area of kidney transplant. Very special,
Mm.
very special, very minute specialty.
Yeah.
And when they moved here in Austin, they created a whole new network of
Yes.
healthcare. I think that's what it is. Did you find it or not?
So he's a nephrologist.
Yes, but they created a whole network of healthcare called
Mm.
Kind Clinic. I can ask if you haven't
Yeah.
found it. I can ask here real quick.
Kind clinic, Austin. You can ask it because I'm trying to look for it.
All right. There is this billionaire named Daniel Lubeski. He is also on Shark Tank. When he moved to Austin, he created a whole medical system called Kind Clinic. We know him for the Kind Bar. Tell me more about the Kind Clinic.
It seems there might be some confusion. There isn't a
No,
billionaire
it's
named
it's Daniel Lubeski. It's a Mexican Jewish guy.
Sorry for
No.
the mix-up. I can't find any information on a
It's
Daniel
called
Levin.
Dr. Michelle Lynn Luberman.
Yes, yes.
That's the
Okay,
wife.
never mind. We found him. Yes,
Mm.
yes. They created a whole new system
Mm-hmm.
for themselves. So you are talking about soft
Yeah.
landing into a unique system. They created that.
Yes. You see
Yeah.
now, and you see now
She's
the
a very
problem.
young lady. I think she's 32 or something like that. Very young lady.
Yeah, I'm seeing her. So you see
Yeah.
that where systems work, especially if you're in that you want to find yourself where you can get access. You see, for example, in the UAE, I saw there are a lot of conferences, health tech conferences, AI conferences. But for you to get access to that, you must have some form of, qualifications and entry. So I'm trying to develop that across.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get strong recommendations from even my visa. There's a guy who is building very good clinics. It's called Walter Toller. So he's I'm going through like he's allowed to like be a facilitator, you see. So at least trying to take that angle. I don't want us to come like I'm coming to visit and go back. I'm taking this first angle that when I come there, there's something that I'm doing that is relevant
Yeah.
for me and where I want to be. So that's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
But I'm giving myself like 1-2 years. I'm a lot into. I'm actually doing psychiatry. I'm starting to do psychiatry. Psychiatry. So basically, the human mind, the dementias, the depressions, and tying it to the research that is happening.
Okay.
The menace, like the most lucrative clinic in the US for any person is the psychiatric clinic. Most of them are going there because
Mental
it's
health.
cheap. Mental health, it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's easy to set up. People are crazy. People are using all sorts of
And
drugs.
all and also because it's not quantifiable.
Yes, it's not exactly. It's not quantifiable. It's risk averse. And then when you get to 65 and you are losing your memory, people, people chase you there. So you find a whole clinic in Florida. It's just purely geriatrics. We call them geriatrics, above 65 years. And each clinic has 120 people. So I was looking at the mathematics. He has 5 clinics in Florida. Each clinic has 120 people that are seen every day. And Medicare, it's now Medicare or Medicaid for the elderly. So
Medicare for the elderly, Medicaid for
yes.
the
So
indigent.
Medicare approves $200 per day. $200 per day. So you do a brief psychotherapy sessions, 15 minutes, and some few drugs. So you are doing $200 times 120 times 5 on a single day. And I was working for him when he was setting it. He set it up in 2021. So now he has a clinic in Maryland and Florida. He's trying to move to New York. So I compare to how fast he has grown. People are always coming there. People are always sending their families, their parents there. So the expansion is quite easy. You're not going to struggle to. You see, like if you want to do a kidney transplant, there are a lot of technicalities involved.
Yeah.
It's very costly. But there you're getting your quick, and you're expanding. So that's why I want to go into that, because it's easier for me as a person coming there. I've seen it work with these immigrants, African nurses. It's easier for them to set up a mental health clinic
Yeah.
than for them to come and set up a surgical unit.
Correct. Yeah.
Because even the skills, the equipment,
Minimal
yes, minimum
equipment,
input,
minimal activation energy. Yeah.
yes, minimum input, maximum output. For surgery, a kidney transplant takes like 6-7 hours. This one is just in 1 hour, you can see 10, 15 clients. And then there's a lot of technology involving towards AI and mental health and you see like the Neuralink stuff. So I think people are now becoming more aware about their mental issues. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking that's where I want to be. So that's what I'm trying to prime myself along those lines and see how it goes. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We will have the right network of people because there is enough resources for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sawa. Let me go. We'll catch up. I'll talk to the guy and then I'll throw you a text and we see how. And then you'll tell
All
me
right.
about your guy. We organize for that.
So what are these traumas you are carrying on your arm? Niki kiradi na bereha.
No, it's not. It's actually it's. I did put them ile tu jana. It's not like they mean anything. It's
So
just some random.
they are traumas of immaturity.
Yeah, you could say so. Uh,
How does
there's
that make you
nothing
feel?
really. No, I don't have a problem with them. I don't perceive them as. I don't even pay much attention to it. I just did. I thought at the time I thought they look cool. And I've been
How do
told
they
they
look?
look cool. I meet some fine babes. They tell me, "Oh, I like your tattoo."
Women cash you on. So you want to add more to the other sleeve.
No. I would have if I wanted to, but I've never really had an issue with it. I like it. I think it looks nice.
They do?
They look nice. I don't. And then now maybe for me, I don't put much meaning to it.
How old were you when you put them on?
Just after med school, 3-4 years ago, I was around
After
20.
you were already a doctor.
I was just after internship. Yes, I was a doctor. I think I was 26 3 years ago.
Kavyo Moguruki.
And I would see patients with it. They don't have a problem. So I've never really, even my parents now, they don't have, where I was raised, they will bring issues, but yeah. You have issues like, if your son does this, it's chaos.
I would not have a son.
Uh,
It's that simple.
like Donald Trump says, I don't want tattoos. No, I think, I don't know. For me, I can't say that they mean something to me, but I just think
So
they look.
what were they signifying at age 27? What were you going for?
No, but then for me, there's this concept of autonomy. We find people who have tattoos, people who are not okay. Let me say there are people who are not tied to specific things. You talk about celebrities, you talk about sports people, you talk about people who have built their own thing. But those people who are tied to, for example, corporate world careers, like the society determines for you how you should look like, how you should appear like. For me, having this basically means some sort of autonomy, some sort of freedom. that
So
I
when
am.
when you were on that bed getting them, what were you going for?
No, nothing really. I just that's why I'm telling you, it's not really intrinsic. I'm not like targeting
I mean,
anything.
did you watch the Moana animated movie and you said you like the tattoos on the character
Oh,
of
the
Moana?
shapes. Yeah, these ones you see like the horns of the Game of Thrones. This is actually Game of Thrones inspired.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then this is, so you look at the architect of Game of Thrones. So basically that's it. Nothing much. Then this is my date of my year of birth. And then this is the crucifix that lady that looks like this. I think it's is it in Sao Paulo? That wherever. Yeah.
The Brazilian big
Yes.
cross.
Yes. This one. So it was just a random thing, yeah. Nothing means nothing. I was not going through anything. It was my moment. I think when I put this tattoo, it was actually my best time or my best moment. I was doing very well, career wise. I was doing good. That's when I was now, you know,
And
I was
you needed a tattoo to remind you when you were born.
no. It just depends. The same way somebody has a stud, the same way
Why do they have a stud?
I don't know. I think people pay so much attention to this thing. The same way you have a watch, the same way I have a ring. Like it's just one of those things that are ornaments. That just it's just what
Why do you have a ring?
it's a jewelry. Like I feel like it's an ornament. I don't even know what it means. I just have two rings. Somebody will look at it and say, "Oh, it means something." For me, it's just a ring. You know.
You have
So
two
the
of
same way you
those.
can have I don't put chains. I don't understand. I've never understand why people put chains. You know, but
So in the
I
same way, that's the reason I don't understand how people put piercings and
yes
tattoos. The same way
exactly. But
you don't understand chain because chains they have their own meaning in the cause of slavery, especially when they are worn by the black people.
do you
They
think
always
black people put on chains because of slavery? It's actually the opposite. Because
some
if
of
you
them
find
is
this,
because of
you see most of
most
these
of them is because
celebrities,
of ignorance.
yeah, in fact, most most of them invest on these heavy chains. People say it's a sign of, you know, I don't know. Some people say that it now you have these expensive gold chains and diamond chains. People say that's how they show that's how they demonstrate economic emancipation. That they're now economically empowered. It's a sign of wealth. You know, people come up with funny, ridiculous moments. But I look at a lady wearing a necklace. I'm just saying, okay, you look beautiful on that. That's a beauty. Nothing much into it. I look at a lady
Yeah,
without a
for
necklace. Yeah. So
yeah,
I think,
jewelry in women are very understandable as
yeah.
when they are not in the extreme piercings.
Mhm.
When you
So
look in the Victorian age, like Queen Victoria is
yeah,
her whole hair is covered in jewelry and
yeah.
crowns.
But
But anyway,
you realize even in our traditional setting, there are tattoos. You know, they're just a different form of people. Will, if you look at it, even now, where I went to school in Pokots have they actually
yeah,
pierce themselves. So there's some cultural aspect to it. There's
yeah,
now
they have a meaning.
yeah, they have a meaning, yeah. And then
Yeah, but
some of
when
this,
I asked you for your meaning of yours, you couldn't articulate it simply. It's like you have
yeah.
never thought about it in 4 years.
No, I've never really exactly. And I know me, I'm saying I did not do
Yeah,
it because there are people who put on tattoos because they went through something. It reminds them of their husband, their children, and those kind of shit.
but
May
yours
I
is to
just
remind
did
you of yours is to remind you of your year of birth.
my actually I've tried to tell you like I feel like I'm free, you know. If I go to if I go for a job interview and somebody tells me we are going to have a problem with your tattoos, you know what I do? That's the last time. There's no any other conversation we're going to have.
So
No
it has
other
happened.
conversation.
It has happened.
So far, it has not happened. Well, I used to work in a mission hospital, and I used to have this. I told them judge me based on my work. Are the patients complaining? Are they okay? So that is the only place where I've been employed. really. That's when I've worked under someone. But when I go to a company that has policies, like the airlines, they don't allow this, then I can't go and work in that. So it's just freedom. That's why even celebrities put, not even even normal people. In America, you walk around with people with tattoos. Normal people. You interact with
Yeah.
normal people with tattoos. So some put a meaning to it, some don't. Some don't even know why they put on earrings. So allow your son to try. My parents would I grew up in a very conservative Christian family.
Yeah.
So even as late as 2017, my sisters would not put on trousers, you know. And even my parents told me if I take a girl to our house, they cannot come on wearing trousers. You see. So we are very strict, raised. I could not go home with this. It will be chaos. Even just shaving, that mohawk thing. I remember after I did my high school, I did put the
Yeah.
mohawk. I went home. My dad took me back to the kinyozi immediately. You cannot be in this house looking like that. But you see now, as you grow, you become older. There's some things you
Hang on.
you are
There's somebody on the
attracted
door.
to.
There's somebody
Yeah.
on the door. One moment. Thank you. So
Yeah.
you were buying freedom from them.
Now, no, not really. I think there's that fear that you have as a parent. Maybe we'll have this conversation some other time. But you see, like even now, I don't know how old your boy is, but there's that parental instinct that naturally you have to be protective of your guy or your son or your child, guide them, okay? But there is that point where now your child has grown. Your child is able to decipher what he wants for himself, what kind of life he wants. You see, so in that psychology, when you're growing, 12, 13, 14, 18, even now when they go to, for example, when they go to campus now, that is the first incidents in their life where they have real freedom. Because in high school, you are still confined, especially in our setting, yeah. So it's when you grow and then you start after campus again. Campus also it's freedom, but not really freedom. Now, when you go into the work setting where you have now to hustle, you see now these are different stages of life that people discover themselves. That's why you find most people realize they are gay when they're in campus, for example.
Mhm.
Or most people realize they are gay when they're in high school. And depending on how they were raised, depending on how they were conditioned in. So there comes a time where now, as a parent, you'll have to accept that my child is grown enough and he knows what he's doing. So even I told my parents that there's nothing wrong with these daughters of yours putting on trousers because times have changed. They have gone to campus, they're seeing people doing that. So let them. Wearing a trouser does not mean you are this type of a girl. Okay. And so for me now it came to a point and they realized, but you having it does not mean that you're this type of boy. You're not doing anything fishy. You're not doing anything out of the norm. That's just what you like. So I think I did not really buy it from them, but there's a way you see your child grow and you are seeing, okay, there's some level of maturity. You see.
So when you were 19, you had a mohawk and your father took you back to the barber to get it cut.
Yes.
When you graduated from medical school, you said, now I have bought myself freedom. I will never be broke. I will never rely on anybody else. I have a medical degree. I can be anything I want. This is my freedom. And now I'm going to imprint it on my arm.
It was not instant, but you realize even the issue of the more the
But
shit that was before.
that's the connection.
No, not really the connection. You see, even this mohawk thing, I think you're just from high. You see, it was my first shave after high school. Meaning, in high school, you have been conditioned to look a certain type of way. So it's your first taste of freedom. and I was very good at football. So I would see footballers with this nice hair. I was actually very talented football. So I want to look like Cristiano Ronaldo or whoever it was.
Were you in high school in 2012?
No, I completed high school in 2011. So from 2008 to 2011, that first.
So 2011, 2012.
So
My
2011,
my
2012.
my.
So
We went to Kenya when my son was 5 in 2012,
yeah,
and he was wearing a mohawk, and it was influenced by one of the footballers in the
exactly.
preceding World Cup.
Now you see, like
Yeah, he
Ronaldo.
had
I think it's Ronaldo
he,
who. But you see
he
now,
would
you
put
as a
mousse
parent.
on his hair, and he would start this tall, spiky as a
Yes,
mohawk.
yes, yes. Now
Yeah,
exactly that player. That was me. So you see now,
yeah.
you as a parent understood where that comes from. You see, my parents didn't know anything about football. They're just Christians. They know you get. And then truth today, you can't blame because the rock boys in the villages, the thieves, the people who refuse to go to school, had the same hairstyle. So so those rock boys who could not go even to high school, so those are the thieves. Every thief that is caught has this funny hairstyle. So for them, I that is what they had. But for you, you understood that okay, my boy is just young. He likes this. He likes that. You understand? So over time, when I went to campus and I could now come home, I've shaven this way. So you see now, our boy has gone to campus. He has gone to first year, second year. He's progressing well in school. He's doing something for himself. He's not asking for us some pocket money. He's able to. So they're seeing like there's some level of maturity that is coming from this boy. So there are so many people going to med school. They don't finish first year, sixth year. So you're going. My friends died in campus. My friends committed suicide. My friends were not able to come. So you have this group of people, but you see, they see this. You have discipline. You are doing this. You're doing this. So with time now, their trust in my decision making and confidence grows. So by the time even I was finishing, by the time even in fifth year, I could make my own decision. They could trust in what I'm. So I'm just asking, hey, what do you think? But they don't really police me from that angle. So even you, when you get a point where your child will grow, he has become a man and you actually approve of what he makes, knowing that, or the decision he does, knowing that he knows what he's doing. You see,
So that is the
so
that is the that is the freedom you were earmarking on your arm. That you got the degree that is going to give you financial freedom and socio-economic freedom, and you said, now I will never need anybody. That's why you're even proud that you
no,
have never been employed, except for the little
I'm
missionary
not really
stint.
proud. I'm not really proud that I've never been employed. I actually look for jobs.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but I'm saying it's not that I don't. I was telling somebody the other day, I do my own things online. I'm taking care of myself from what, but
Yeah.
I do not go to school, for example, to work for people somewhere else entirely. I believe like there's something I can do in my society to make
It's
something.
more more
That's the
more
whole point of going
fulfilling.
to school. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the whole point. Because
Yeah.
basically what I'm doing here is brain drain. Okay. But there's something you can give me a task. Let me you see, you understand. I always want to work. I always don't mind. I can do 6, 7 things at the same time, so long as I'm making something that is impactful. There's that level of self-satisfaction that comes when you do something. You see,
Yeah.
that you feel your value is being used, especially when you look around and you see there's a lot of nonsense going on that you can actually help. You see, so it's not that I'm really that is the reason. But like I told you, this one it was just a feel good moment.
Mark
You
of
know,
freedom.
yeah,
Mark
mark
of
of freedom.
mark of freedom.
Yeah, but it's a mark of freedom, not a mark of rebellion. Those are two different
I
things. Mark
understand.
of
I
freedom.
understand. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah, so that's why.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, we were supposed to end a few minutes ago.
Man. four
Yeah.
hours, 40 minutes. You are something else, man. All right. That's it.
All right,
Have a
man.
good one, man.
Okay. Have a good
Let me
one.
know when you're available and I'll touch base with my guy and we can talk with your guy.